Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Great to be here.
You know, it feels like every week there's a new twist in the tech world, and that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Yeah, moves fast.
We've got a bunch of interesting stuff on our radar, from like how we're paying for things to what Apple's got cooking in their secret labs, and even a peek into the world of sports and business crossing over, ready to make sense of it all.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how these different areas intersect and, influence each other. Let's get started.
All right, let's kick things off with something that hits close to home, our wallets. Affirm, those folks behind the buy now, pay later thing.
BNPL.
They're now cozying up with Costco. As a card-carrying Costco enthusiast myself, the idea of stretching out payments for a giant pack of paper towels is, well, it's a thought.
I can see the appeal.
But the CEO of Affirm seems pretty optimistic about how much we're all still spending, despite what some financial gurus are suggesting.
It's interesting looking at their numbers, actually. Affirm's CEO pointed out a pretty significant jump, 36% in their gross merchandise volume, their GMV.
Wow, 36%?
Yeah. You think of GMV as just the total value of everything sold through their platform. So that kind of growth suggests their users are still actively buying things.
Right.
And their play with Costco seems smart. They're likely targeting maybe a younger crowd, less keen on traditional credit cards.
Go.
And more attracted to the transparency. You know exactly what you owe, no surprise fees popping up.
Yeah, no more of that deferred interest monster jumping out to scare you later. That's a big one.
Exactly.
They're really pushing the clear terms, and it sounds like leaning heavily on AI and machine learning to figure out who's good for the payments, not just old school credit scores.
Precisely. Their AI-powered underwriting, that's the process they use to decide whether to approve a purchase. It uses different kinds of data to assess risk. And the CEO also made a key point. He believes their growth is driven more by the appeal of that transparency and those tempting 0% interest offers.
Right, the 0%.
Rather than just people maybe struggling with the economy.
Yeah.
He pushed back on that idea.
Interesting take. Okay, so from how we're paying to what we might be buying down the line. Apple.
Apple. Always busy.
It seems their engineers are buzzing, apparently working on their own custom chips for, well, everything. Future smart glasses, even the powerful computers that run AI. It feels like they want to control the whole stack.
That's a very astute observation. I mean, Apple has been steadily moving towards designing their own silicon across their entire product line.
Yeah, we've seen it.
You see it in the A series, chips in iPhones, the M series in Macs, and even in things like AirPods and Apple Watches, right? So developing a custom chip for their rumored smart glasses, likely an evolution of the Apple Watch processor, maybe optimized for power efficiency and camera stuff, it fits perfectly into that strategy.
So one chip to power our future-face computers, that's kind of wild. Kind of, yeah.
And the fact they're also dabbling in chips for AI servers, that hints at a much bigger AI game plan, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
They're not just going to be using off-the-shelf parts if they can help it.
Exactly. By designing their own silicon, they gain tighter control over performance, how everything integrates with their software.
Right, yeah.
And with AI becoming so crucial, having custom server chips could give them a real advantage in optimizing AI tasks right within their own ecosystem.
Makes sense.
And it's worth remembering that while Apple designs these brains, the actual manufacturing is done by TSMC, and they're built using ARM technology.
Gotcha. Okay, shifting gears now to something that could potentially throw a wrench in everyone's plans.
Yeah.
Tariffs on China.
Yeah, that's been bubbling up again.
There's been talk specifically from President Trump of a potential massive 80% tariff on Chinese goods. That sounds like it could really send shockwaves.
An 80% tariff. Wow. That would indeed be a major, major barrier to trade between the U.S. and China.
We've already seen companies like Apple, exploring ways to diversify their supply chains, lessen their dependence on China.
Trying to move things around.
Right. And a tariff of that magnitude could definitely accelerate those shifts and, well, likely lead to higher prices for us as consumers. It's hard to see how it wouldn't.
It's such a huge difference compared to, say, the UK trade deal we heard about. That had a much smaller 10% tariff, and even that was tied to specific deals, like the UK buying Boeing planes or agricultural stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The UK deal seemed more targeted, more specific give and take. This potential 80% on China suggests a much more assertive, broad stroke stance.
Definitely.
We even heard a warning from Semiconductor International about potential drops in sales because of production disruptions. Just a clear sign of how interconnected global manufacturing is.
And how sensitive.
Very sensitive to trade tensions like these.
And speaking of things that can feel a bit turbulent, the world of streaming services.
Oh boy, yeah.
It seems like just having a streaming platform isn't quite the golden ticket anymore, is it?
No, the landscape's definitely shifting.
We saw some companies like Paramount and Warner Bros. Discovery with their revenues actually taking a dip, while Disney's streaming arm, interestingly, helped their overall numbers, pulled them up.
What's really coming into focus now is the challenge of creating consistently compelling content, good shows, good movies, while also managing those legacy linear TV businesses.
To all cable channels.
Exactly, which are facing their own set of headwinds. It's a tough balancing act.
And could tariffs even play a role here, like impacting the cost of foreign-made content or film production?
That's another interesting angle to consider, absolutely. If production costs go up due to tariffs on equipment or location issues, that could squeeze streamers too.
And it's not just the streaming giants feeling potential ripples, even companies that help advertisers, like Trade Desk.
Right, the ad tech side.
They're keeping a close eye on things. Initially, they haven't seen a huge impact from tariff talk on ad spending, but there's a sense that things could change, like a gathering storm, as one analyst put it.
That's a critical point. While ad spending might seem resilient for now, the broader economic impact of significant tariffs across various sectors could eventually, filter down and affect advertising budgets. It's definitely something to watch.
For sure. All right, from our screens to getting around town, let's talk Lyft.
Okay, ride sharing.
They reported some strong numbers for their gross bookings and are even buying back more of their own stock. Sounds like they're feeling pretty confident.
It appears so. Lyft's strategy seems to include expanding their reach in markets where they aren't quite as dominant yet, places like Indianapolis, for example.
Trying to grow market share there.
Exactly. And they're also continuing to sort of dip their toes into the autonomous vehicle space. They've got pilot programs going with companies like May Mobility and Mobileye.
But with safety drivers still, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Starting cautiously with safety drivers behind the wheel for now.
Their CEO even pointed to strong ride numbers around events like Cinco de Mayo as maybe a good sign for the economy overall, people getting out and about.
Interesting indicator. And apparently, even with a bit of a slowdown in international travel recently, it doesn't seem to be hurting Lyft too much. Plus, they're gaining traction up in Canada, including Quebec, which seems positive.
So it suggests a solid core business for them, right? Their expansion efforts, their cautious AV approach indicates they're thinking about the present and the future.
Seems that way. Balancing growth and innovation.
Okay, finally, let's talk about something a little different but still in the realm of big business and maybe tech influence. Sports.
Ah, the Salford City story.
Yeah. David Beckham and Gary Neville are heading up this consortium looking to take over Salford City Football Club. And their goal, reaching the championship league within 5 years, that's some serious ambition.
It really is. But what's particularly interesting, I think, is a combination of those on-field goals with a really clear strategy for growing the business side of the club sustainably.
Right, not just throwing money at it.
Exactly. The involvement of business minds with expertise in tech, law, sports entertainment, it suggests they're taking a very holistic approach. They're not just relying on, celebrity star power. They seem to be building a serious operation.
They've even hinted at maybe bringing back some of that behind-the-scenes content, like that old BBC documentary.
Yeah, Class of '92, right?
That's the one, to get fans engaged and boost revenue. It sounds like they want to innovate both on and off the pitch. New CEO, more serious football and business focus.
And the fact that other investors are apparently keen to join them shows there's real belief in what they're trying to build there.
Yeah, definitely adds credibility.
Absolutely. Their commitment to investing in the team where needed, combined with this idea of it being a diverse global partnership, it makes it a really compelling story to follow.
It's fascinating, that intersection of sports, celebrity, and really strategic business investment.
Truly is.
Well, that was quite a whirlwind tour through a whole bunch of fascinating tech and business news.
I covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we touched on everything from how we're spending our money with Buy Now, Pay Later, Affirm, and Costco, to Apple's silicon dreams.
Smart glasses, AI chips.
The potential tariff tangle, the streaming service shakeup, Lyft's ride forward, and Beckham and Neville's football ambitions with Salford City. It's all connected in some surprising ways, isn't it?
It truly is. Each of these stories offers a glimpse into the forces shaping our increasingly tech-driven world. You see the threads connecting finance, hardware, global trade, entertainment, even sports.
Absolutely. And that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the tech and business landscape. We hope you found it insightful and, dare we say, maybe even a little entertaining.
Hopefully useful too.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give us a like, drop a comment, share it with anyone who might find it interesting.
Let us know what you think.
And definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next exploration into the ever-evolving world of tech. Until next time.